the testing is something that obviously a lot of people are talking about. President Trump came out and said, governors, get your testing ready. And then the governor said, okay, we'll get it ready. And then the governors, like in Missouri and Illinois and a couple other states that I have practices in, they say, okay, mayors or municipalities, get your stuff together, which God bless these folks. You know, they didn't know that they were going to get put in that position when they signed up to be a mayor. But what is the testing? Do you feel that the testing is necessary? Is it valid? And what are they even testing for?
That's the bottom line. What are you testing for? Are you testing for the presence of a virus? And, you know, and here's an example, Eric, and we aren't given, we as physicians aren't given enough clarity on what this testing is supposed to do. And let me just use an analogy of what they do when they, what I think is that these are screening tests, which aren't going to be specific enough for anything.
Right.
And let's just use influenza as an example. Every year during the influenza season, what the CDC calls influenza season, which runs from August to April. And they have about 120 testing sites across the country. So people that have body aches, fever and chills, things that really would look like the flu, high fever, they don't feel good, they go into one of these testing sites, they do a nasal swab, they send those nasal swabs to the CDC. And the first algorithm step of that testing, when that swab comes in, they test it. Is it an influenza virus or something else?
Right.
And over the last 19 years, because I analyzed all the CDC data on that, over the last 19 years, when that initial swab came in, 15% were influenza viruses, 85% were something else.
Wow.
Now, so that tells you that if the flu shots work at all, it's only going to work 15% of the time, right?
At best, yeah.
And so over here in this 15%, now they subtype those viruses because they have all these viruses have names, so they subtype them. Then they look at the prevalence of those subtypings and say, okay, let's just give them a name. Let's go to say there's virus A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
Does virus A, B, and C match virus A, B, and C that's in the vaccine that we gave you? That's where they come up with those stats that you hear on the news. They say that it's a 26% match or a 47% match. It's like out there in the circulation, are those viruses floating around out there that are actually causing people to be sick? Are they the same viruses? Do they match the ones that are in the flu shot? So they have to subtype those to know what they're talking about. So if all we're doing is nasal swab and sending it in and saying it's positive for coronavirus, what does that mean if there's 37 different strains out there? And we now know that the SARS-CoV-2, which is the actual name of the virus causing COVID, which is the illness, we know that the New York Times reported Thursday that there are at least 30 different ones of those strains out there. I've read some of the clinical trials where they're looking at vaccines for maybe 10 of them. So there's 30 different strains of that. Are all 30 of those strains equally pathogenic?
Yeah.
And if you're positive, but you're asymptomatic, what does that mean? That you're typhoid Mary and you're spreading things around everywhere? Like,
so
no, because
go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Because if I am positive and I sneeze on you, does that make you sick? No.
Yeah.
I mean, it all is about the health of the terrain. And so now what they're doing is they're making everybody look as though they are a contagion, and everybody has to wear a mask and gloves, even even people who are completely healthy. Since when did medical doctors buy into this crap that you have to like quarantine and mask healthy people?
Well, never in my lifetime. I've never.
Mine either, and I'm a lot older than you.
Well, we'll just leave it at that.